The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
This story that I want to tell you comes from a Sefer Haggadas Chemdas Shamayim. It's a beautiful story. It was a Rav in a shul, and he sees that one of his mispalim never ever stays for Birchas Kohen. He's always folding up his talis in the beginning of Chazaras Hashatz, right after Kedusha, he packs out. When there's no duchening, he stays till the end of davening. But whenever there's duchening, the guy is out of the Besmedrash before duchening. And it bothered him. And he decided that he has to get to the bottom of it. Now, he couldn't just ask him because the guy was a Holocaust survivor, and the Holocaust survivors went through so much. You can never know what triggers it and what it can do to the person if you ask them. So he knew he had to tread water very carefully, talk about it. So what he did was, he invited this Yid to come eat by him the Yom Tov meal. And he sees that it comes after Kedusha. He can't believe it. He sees that this Yid is folding up his talis. Hey, you're supposed to eat by me. Where are you going? And Shoin, the guy pulled up his talis, he put it away, he walked out before duchening, and that was it. The Rav was very upset, but he couldn't say anything. What's he going to do? The Rav folded up his talis after davening, obviously not on the folds, and he leaves the shul, and he starts walking home, and he sees on the corner this guy. He's sitting there waiting for him. He says, "Good Shabbos, Rav, how are you? I was waiting for you." He says, "Oh, I'm so happy. I thought maybe you left early, you weren't coming to me." "No, I'm coming. I'm just waiting for you." And he waited, and they went home, and they walked home, and the Rav made Kiddush, and the Rav started eating, and after they had a good gesunte first course, the Rav brought up the subject. And he says, "Tell me, Rabbi Yud, I have one question on you. You're such a great guy, but I noticed that you're never there for Birchas Kohen. You're always leaving. What's the pshat? You don't want the bracha?" And the guy turned white, and he tells him, "You know, I'm gonna tell you now a story that I never told anybody in my life. You know, I went through the Holocaust, and there were thousands and thousands and thousands of Yidden in the camp. Just our barrack itself had 800 Yidden. We slept on a board, 8 people to a board, and the board wasn't flat, it was on an angle. And people would roll off in the middle of the night, and when the one person turned over, everybody turned over, and they rolled off it was gefährlich. But we had one Yid who was a Rav, and he would be mechazek everybody. He would walk around giving chizuk, he would say over Vertlach on the parsha. He made everybody feel that they're a Yid, and it's Kedai, and we're going to get liberated, and he really kept us going. And one day, he makes an announcement in the barrack, and he says, "Rabbi Isai, Pesach is going to be in 2 weeks from now. What's going to be? We need matzah. If there's anybody here in this barrack that has a way of getting us matzah, please see me." After a couple of days, a Yid comes over to the Rav, and he tells him, "I have an idea. I could get you matzah. You just have to tell me how to make it." He says, "What do you mean? How could you get me matzah?" He says, "My job in the camp is that I clean the head Nazi's house every day. And I noticed that from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, he goes into his room and he goes to sleep. And he's sleeping, and I could do whatever I want in his house. I could bake matzahs. He has plenty of flour there. Whatever I need, he has in his house." So the Rav gave him instructions on how to make the matzah, how to kasher the oven, and how to bake it. And the Yid followed the instructions, and he made 2 beautiful, nice-sized matzahs. And he came and he brought it back to the barracks, and they hid it until Pesach night. It came Pesach night, and the Rav made an announcement, "Rabbi Isai, we're going to do the Haggadah now, and we have a surprise for everybody." And they all, 800 Yidden sat down on the floor, And the Rav started speaking, and he started saying the Agada. And he was talking about Golus Mitzrayim and Geulas Mitzrayim, and he peppered it, the oilam that we're going to get out of here also, and it's going to be Gavaldik. And then it came time for matzah. And the Rav made the bracha al achilas matzah, and he gave the matzah to 8 people, and each one broke it up into pieces, and they passed it around, and all 800 people got a little piece of matzah. Everybody made a bracha, and everybody had a little piece of matzah. Matzah is geula. Maror, they have plenty of maror a whole year. They don't need no maror. And the Rav was being mechazik them, and he was finishing the Haggadah. He was mamish by the end, by Chad Gadya, and all of a sudden, the barrack door opens up, and in marches the head Nazi and 25 of his cohorts, and the head Nazi takes out his revolver, and he goes over to the first yid that he grabs, and he puts it by his head, and he says, "Who organized this reunion?" And the yid didn't know what to do. How could he go and say who it is? He says, "Listen here, if you don't tell me, I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to go to the next guy with the revolver, and I'm going to kill him until I find out who made it." Suddenly, there was a loud sound in the middle of the barracks, and the Rav got up, and he walked over to the Nazi, and he said, "I organized it." And he pulled his shirt up, and he said, "You want to kill me? You can kill me." And the Nazi walked over with the revolver to him like he was going to shoot him. And when he got a foot away from him, the Nazi started laughing. And he says, "You think your end is going to be so much fun? I'm just going to shoot you? No, we're going to have a lot of fun with you tomorrow. Everybody go back to sleep. We know who it is now." They took down his number. They knew exactly who it is. And the next day, they got all thousands of Yidden, every Yid from the whole camp. They brought them together in one big square. And they brought this Yid, this Rav, they brought him up to the front. And they told everybody what happened and how he made a rebellion in the camp. And they're now going to torture him and kill him in front of everybody. And it came time for them to shoot him. And the Yid said, "I don't get a last request?" And the Nazi starts laughing. "You want a last request? What do you want? Another piece of bread or a bowl of soup?" He says, "No, I want to tell my people one thing." He says, "Okay, what do you want to tell them?" He says, "I want to bless them. I want to bench them." And he says, "You want to bless them? Who says you could, who are you to bless them?" He says, "What do you mean? I'm a kohen." So the Nazi says, "Okay, you could bless them. You got 30 seconds. And the Yid got up there in front of tens of thousands of people. And he said, "Yivarechecha." And he benched all the Yidden with Birchas Koyanim. And then they shot him. After the war, I was so zerbrochen. I said, I'm finished with Yiddishkeit. I'm going to find a Goyish wife, and no one's going to ever know that I was a Yid. And I was looking for a Goyish wife, and I found one. And I was about to marry her. And that night, I went to sleep. And my memories began to haunt me. And what I saw was that Rav, that Kohen, benching us. Yivarechecha, with his hands spread apart like a Kohen Duchens. And I dropped the marriage. And I went to find a Yiddish wife. And then we had a bunch of kids. And I decided that I'm sending my kids to public school. And the night before I went to enroll my kids in public school, again, I had that same haunting dream where I saw the Kohen get up in front of everybody about to be shot. And he spread his hands out and he again screamed out, Yivarechecha! And I took my kids and I sent them to the Talmud Torah. And I know one thing. I can't get that vision out of my head. And if I ever go to Birchas Koyanim, I'll have a different vision of Birchas Koyanim. So to keep me in place, I decided that I can't go to any Birchas Koyanim. I walk out before Berchas Koyanim because I need to have that impression of that Koyan, that Rav, always in my mind. And that's what's keeping me in line. And even though it's so hard for me and I don't understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu's ways, but I know one thing, that the Rebbeinu Shalom said, Yivarechecha v'ani avarchem, and Baruch Hashem, I have wonderful children. They're all sitting and learning. They're all making me proud. They're all from a Yidden. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bring us the ultimate bracha. And we should have bracha ad b'lidai, Mashiach tzidkeinu b'mhera v'yameinu amen.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org